The film begins with a person named Ril, and we learn that he is an angel, and his mission is to save people who are about to have a car accident, specifically people who have an accident because they use their phones while driving. We see him alerting a woman before she gets into an accident while she was sending a message to her husband. This woman hits the brakes before hitting a car in front of her, and Ril disappears. After that, he alerts a person driving his car who was about to hit two people crossing the road. And immediately after that, he saves a person named Arj, who is also about to hit a car in front of him. But Ril appears affected because he sees Arj sad because he was not accepted for the job he wanted to work in. After that, Arj goes and stands in a line to buy pastries, but we learn that he works for a delivery app and that he is standing in the line to buy the pastries and deliver them to a customer. He remains standing for 2 full hours in the line, but before his turn comes, the worker tells everyone that the pastries have run out. Arj calls the customer and informs him that the pastries have run out and asks him not to cancel the order from the app, telling him that he waited 2 full hours for him. But he is later surprised by a message stating that the customer canceled the order. At the same time, a businessman named Jeff appears and takes the pastries from the worker. So Arj is surprised because she just said the pastries ran out, and because Jeff was not standing in the line. So the worker tells him that Jeff is one of the investors supporting the place, and that this order was reserved for him. After that, Arj goes to another mission and delivers a washing machine to a person's house, and remains talking to the son of the homeowner. And the child informs him that he wants to be an archaeologist when he grows up. So Arj tells him that he will graduate from the college he wants, but in the end he will not be able to work in it, and that he has never met any archaeologist before, so the child gets upset. Of course, after that, the father of this child gives Arj a negative rating on the app because he upset the boy with his words. Then Arj goes to his second job at the factory, and we learn that he works in this factory as a sales employee, and he sees a woman named Alina working in the same factory with him, and she talks to him and asks him if he is satisfied with working in the factory. So he tells her that he does not like it, but he works part-time to provide money. So she tells him that they should demand their full rights from the factory management. So he informs her that his work is basically temporary, and he does not care about these matters. So Alina feels that Arj is negative and does not want to demand his rights in the factory, so she gets up and leaves him. After that, Arj finishes his work and goes to eat, and he meets Alina again by chance. So he talks to her and they eat together, and she informs him that her main job is manufacturing furniture. So he tells her that his main work that he loves is making documentaries, but he is still trying to look for a steady job in this field. So she tries to motivate him and tells him that he will definitely find suitable work. And Ril is watching them while they are talking, and he wants to help Arj to achieve his dreams. After that, Arj parks his car, and we learn that he does not own a house and sleeps in his car every day. And he talks to his father on the phone, and his father asks him about the new apartment. So he lies to him and tells him that he is comfortable in it. He tells his father that his cousin is now working at Microsoft and now has a lot of money, and he asks him to talk to him to provide him with a job with him in his company. So Arj tells him that his field is far from his cousin's field and that he wants to work in documentaries, but he promises him that he will think about the matter. After that, he ends the call and tries to sleep, and Ril is also watching Arj's car from afar. After that, Ril goes to a meeting of the angels, and each angel has a mission different from the other. And an angel named Eli tells a story about a person he saved. And Eli says that this person was going to throw himself into the waterfalls. But at that time, he put his hand on this person's shoulder and made him see the things that are worth living for, and returned hope to his life again, and made him see himself in the future while he is cheering for his son in a soccer match. And also made him see himself while he is happy with his wife, and says that at that time He saw that his life has value, so he decided not to kill himself. Ril hears him and is affected and wants to help people like him. Afterwards, Ril speaks with the head of the angels, who is named Marcia, and he asks her to perform missions like Eli, and that he wants to change people's lives and save them. So she tells him that these missions are difficult and he will not be able to do them. So Ril tells her about Arj and tells her that he sees that he needs help. So Marcia tells him that his mission is to alert people who will have an accident because of their talking on the phone only. At the same time, Arj continues his work in the factory, but he is not focused and feels sleepy. And after that he finishes his work and goes to his car and sleeps. But the worker prevents him from parking his car in the place where he is standing. So Arj makes an excuse that he stopped to buy a few things and nothing more. But the worker does not believe him and asks him to leave and warns him not to repeat this again. The next day, Arj continues his work on the app and goes to the house of Jeff the businessman. And Arj remembers as soon as he sees Jeff that this is the same person who took the pastries a few days ago. At that time, Jeff tells him that his assistant left work a while ago and takes him to the warehouse that he is supposed to clean and organize. So Arj cleans the place and goes to Jeff and shows him a picture of the warehouse while it is clean. So Jeff thanks him and informs him that he will give him a high rating on the app. Jeff is eating, so he invites him and gives him toast with an expensive type of cheese to try. So Arj eats the cheese and likes it. And Arj tells him that he is ready to work with him if he is looking for someone to help him. So Jeff tells him that he just met him now and will not be able to evaluate him to make him work with him now. But Jeff informs him of the missions he is supposed to do and tells him that he will try him for a week. So Arj is happy and delighted and agrees immediately. Arj starts working with him and organizes his appointments and serves him food while he is sitting in the swimming pool. And after that, Jeff talks with Arj and gives him a credit card to be able to buy household items through it. Arj asks him what exactly he works as. So he tells him that he is a businessman and owns a company that supports small startups and that he invests in these companies, and informs him that he is also one of the investors in a food delivery app. After that, Arj is able to rent a place to stay instead of the car, and at that time Ril is still watching him. Arj has an appointment with Alina, so she calls him and apologizes to him because she will not be able to meet him because she was in an accident while she was driving her cousin's car, and she reassures him that she is fine but needs to postpone the appointment. So he tells her that there is no problem at all and suggests to her that they meet the next day, and she agrees. The next day, Arj goes to Jeff's house and sits folding Jeff's clothes and organizing them. And Jeff informs him that there is a gun in his safe in case any emergency situation happens or someone attacks the house. So Arj is terrified and tells him that he doesn't know how to use a weapon at all, and that if what he is saying happens, he will hide at that time. So Jeff tells him that many house break-ins have happened in the neighborhood they are in because the area is not very safe. After that, Arj asks for permission to finish what he is doing and leave because he has an appointment. So Jeff agrees and tells him the location of a nice restaurant where he can eat with Alina, and gives him a jacket from his own collection as well to meet her in. Indeed, Arj goes and meets Alina, and she tells him that in the beginning she hated him because she felt that he was negative, but now she feels he has changed. After that, they order food and eat together and are happy, but Arj is surprised that the bill is large and he doesn't have enough money. So Alina suggests that she pay the bill with him, but he refuses and is forced to use Jeff's credit card. The next day, Arj goes to Jeff, and Jeff knows that he used his card and paid money from it without asking his permission. So Arj tells him that he will return the money he took as soon as possible, and that he was the one who suggested the expensive restaurant to him. So Jeff tells him that he shouldn't have used it either and fires him from work. After that, Arj goes to eat in a restaurant and falls asleep while he is sitting. So the waiter wakes him up and informs him that it is not right to sleep in the restaurant, and Arj leaves and discovers that his car has been towed. So he is shocked and remains standing in his place, not knowing how to act. Ril is watching him from afar and decides to help him and reveals himself to him, and informs him that he is an angel and that he appeared to him to save him. But Arj does not comprehend his words. So Ril points to the wings on his back to confirm to him that he is an angel, and tells him that he knows everything about him, and that he knows that he sleeps in his car and also was fired from his job, and confirms to him that there are things that still deserve for him to live for them, and informs him that in the future he will work as a delivery driver, and that he will live with Alina, his girlfriend. Arj sees himself while he is living in Alina's house, but the house is crowded, and Alina's family is living with them. So Arj tells Ril that what he saw does not make him cling to life either, and that his life has no value because he sees that Jeff's life is much better than his and that he wishes to live it. So Ril tells him that he can make him see Jeff's life and make sure that it is not as beautiful as he imagines, and he puts his hand on Arj's shoulder, and suddenly Arj's life is swapped and he lives Jeff's life and is rich and has a lot of money. He wakes up from sleep to find himself in Jeff's car and is surprised, and he goes to the house and finds Jeff in front of him, but he is surprised that Jeff is the one who has become working for him. So Arj looks at him with surprise and is not yet comprehending what happened. Arj sees all the pictures hanging on the wall and finds himself present in them instead of Jeff, and Ril appears to him and asks him if his new life pleased him. So Arj asks him about what happened. So he informs him that he swapped his life with Jeff's life, and that he made Jeff lose his memory and he forgot his old life. But this will only happen for a short period, and that he will meet him after a week to know if he liked Jeff's life. So Arj is delighted. The next day, he sits in the swimming pool and Jeff brings him the food and he is enjoying it. And Ril is present and informs Arj that no one can see him except him, and Arj is very much enjoying the new life. He goes to see Alina in the factory, but Ril tells him that Alina will not remember him, and that he must get to know her again with his rich personality. So Arj talks with Alina and lies to her, and tells her that she helped him before to buy good wood from the factory, and introduces himself to her, and invites her to dinner. And she accepts the invitation, and they stay up together and eat and are happy. After a week, Arj talks with Ril and tells him that he is living the best days of his life. So Ril tells him that the week has ended and asks him if he is ready to go back to his life again or not. So Arj refuses to go back to his life and tells him that his life did not have anything special. So Ril gets angry, but he cannot do anything and tells him that he will not be able to return him to his life unless he agrees. So Arj is happy that he will not return to his old life unless he is the one who wants it. After that, Ril goes to talk to Marcia, and she shouts at him for what he did, and informs him that he should not have done that, and informs him that Alina was not supposed to have an accident in the first place, and that he neglected his work because he was watching Arj at that time. And if she hadn't had an accident, she would have met Arj at the appointment in a normal and simple restaurant, and Jeff would not have been fired. Marcia informs him that he will lose his wings and lose most of his power as an angel until he can fix everything he ruined, and indeed she executes her words. The next day, Arj throws a party in his house and invites Alina and is very happy, and Jeff is still working with him, and Ril appears and informs Arj what happened to him, but he doesn't care. So Ril puts his hand on Jeff's shoulder and returns his memory to him again. So Jeff remembers everything about his old life and remembers that he was rich and that this is his house. But Jeff cannot dispose of any of his possessions unless Arj permits Ril to return him to his old life. Jeff is shocked by what happened and faints in that moment. And after that he wakes up and shouts at Arj to return his life to him again, and informs him that he will give him $200,000 if he agrees. But Arj, of course, refuses and tells him that this is a small number compared to his entire wealth which has become under his hand. So Jeff shouts at him and tells him that he has stolen his life. At that time, Ril tells Arj that he surely does not want to hurt Jeff. So Arj agrees and tells them that he will return to his life again, but after a few days to enjoy himself a little. So Jeff agrees. Jeff goes to stay in a small hotel, and Ril goes to live with him, because he lost his power and needs to stay in a place like humans. But the money that is with Jeff runs out, and he doesn't know how to pay more to stay in the hotel. So Jeff goes to work the same job as Arj's job and stands in lines to buy requests for customers and deliver them. And the amount of money he collected is very simple, and Jeff cannot go to sleep in a hotel and sleeps with Ril in the car just as Arj used to do. At that time, Arj talks with Alina and asks her to travel to Paris this week together. So she tells him that she has work and will not be able to travel, and Alina is surprised by Arj's persistence. So he tells her that she should want to enjoy her time instead of the work she does. So Alina is upset by his words and tells him that she is happy with her life and doesn't want to change it and leaves him and walks away. So Arj is upset and goes down and gets in the car, but he gets in an accident because he was replying to a message while he was driving and did not see the road. After that, Ril informs Jeff that Arj had an accident and that he went into a coma and they should wait for him until he wakes up, and that he will not be able to return their lives now until Arj decides himself. So he listens to his words and is shocked. After that, Ril talks to Marcia and Marcia tells him that he ruined everything by what he did and informs him that he will now live his life exactly like a human, but he might return to being an angel again if Arj returns to his old life. After that, Ril goes to the restaurant with Jeff and eats with him, and it is the first time he eats, and he is surprised by the food, but he enjoys it and is happy. The next day, Jeff goes to his old company to apply for a job there, and they do not remember him and they kick him out. After that, Jeff calls the hospital where Arj is to see if he woke up from the coma or not, but the hospital administration refuses to let him know anything. Jeff talks with Ril and tells him that he will not be able to provide him with money for his food and asks him to work as well. And indeed, Ril works washing dishes in a restaurant, but he is surprised when he takes the salary that it is small and not enough. So his colleague in the restaurant tells him that he needs to find another job next to the restaurant job. After that, Arj wakes up in the hospital, and the nurse informs him that there are two people asking about him every day since his entry into the hospital. So he expects that they are Jeff and Ril. He asks the nurse if an accident like the one he had can cause memory loss or not. So she tells him that this is very possible. Arj returns to the house, and Jeff learns that he woke up, so he goes to the house. And Arj gets nervous when he pretends to him that he has lost his memory and does not remember him. So Jeff believes him and his anxiety decreases and he is shocked. After that, he goes to Ril and informs him what happened. And Ril is also surprised. And Jeff tells him that Arj might remain without his memory forever. And Ril also doesn't know what to do. After that, an alert comes to Jeff informing him that his task ratings are weak and that they no longer need him at work. So Jeff is upset and informs Ril and tells him that he cannot bear his life in this way. In the same moment, Jeff's car is towed because he has many fines he didn't pay, so he becomes more upset. So Ril tells him that the same thing happened with Arj when he fired him from work in the past, and his car was towed immediately after that. So Jeff is surprised, and Jeff decides to go to his house and steal his watches without Arj noticing. Indeed, he goes with Ril and is surprised that Arj is throwing his birthday party and is dancing at the party and is happy. Jeff takes advantage of Arj being busy in the party and enters the room and opens the safe and takes the watches. But Arj suddenly appears and shoots him, and he is not realizing that this is Jeff. Arj tells Jeff that he did the same thing he told him before when he told him to shoot anyone who breaks into the house. So Jeff knows that Arj is not losing his memory as he claims. Arj takes him to the hospital and they remove the bullet from him and he becomes fine. He apologizes to him for what he did and tells him that he was forced to lie to him because his life was difficult and he does not like to return to it. He asks Ril how he can return to his life again. So Ril tells him that he should return because he wants to return, and because he feels that his old life is worth being lived, not just because he feels guilt toward Jeff. Arj suggests to Jeff that he come to live with him in the house until they see how things will go, so he agrees, and Ril goes to live with them as well. The three were spending their time in the sauna and the swimming pool and going out and eating together. Marcia appears to Ril and tells him that she gave him the easiest mission, but he couldn't execute it, so he is sad. Arj notices Ril's distress, so Ril tells him that he feels like a failure and that he was wrong when he put Jeff in this position. Arj says that he was trying to help and his intention was good, so Ril informs him that he will give up and will not try again, and says to Arj that it is clear that he wants to live rich and is not convinced also to return to his old life. Arj replies that all he wanted was for his money to be enough and not to continue suffering all the time, so Ril wishes if he were an angel again to be able to help him better. Arj informs him that he didn't want any other angel to appear in his life except him, and that he loves him as he loves himself, and that he will never be Jeff. Arj continues his speech and tells him that he wants to try as well and depend on himself to see where his life will lead him. Ril smiles and puts his hand on Arj's shoulder, and in the same moment Arj is transferred and returns to his old life, and Ril returns as an angel, and also Jeff returns to his house, and is happy and attends a meeting in his company, and tells the board members and investors that they should increase the delivery workers' salaries, because they are the reason for the good life they live, and reminds them that his share in the company is the largest and the decision is in his hand, so they are forced to agree. At the same time, Arj returns to the place where his car was towed, but he is able to receive his car again and learns that Jeff's company is the one that paid the late fines on it. After that, Arj returns to work in the factory again, but he applies for a grant for a documentary film he wants to make. And he also returns to Alina and they go out together and eat together and are happy. The film ends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.